You are listening to the All Metal Mode podcast with your host, Mike Hare. Join me and Gypsy Jules every Monday night and Matt Hoffman and myself every Tuesday night. Listen in as we discuss a wide range of metal detecting and related topics such as technical, equipment, talk to guests, and so much more. Sit back, join in on the drinking game. For those new to the show, every time I say relic machine, you need to do a shot. These are the rules, I didn't make them up. We hope you enjoy this episode of All Metal Mode.
Oh, it's going pretty good. It's been a long week already, and it's only, Tuesday. And so, I've been super busy with work, but have been getting out and, finding some stuff here and there. Nothing too exciting. Just keep pulling more Civil War tokens and store card tokens. But, I don't know.
So,
other than that.
So nobody heard me in the beginning. This has been fun lately. So what I was saying is tonight we have George and Pam Lesches on, Predator Tools, the best tools on the market, hands down. Can you guys hear me now, hopefully?
We can hear you now.
Yes, we can.
Well, the people in chat are saying that they couldn't hear me. Oh, there we go. Okay, so they can hear me now. But yeah, George and Pam, PredatorTools.com, check them out. There's nothing out on the market even close. There's nothing even comparable. I was saying earlier that you guys didn't hear me out there is I don't like confrontation. I try to stay away from it. But when I see people posting about some of these different shovels and stuff, I always jump in and say Predator Tools. That's what you want. And always. And there's a certain hand digger that people are really starting to get on my nerves with, George.
What might that be?
It's one of the manufacturers who makes it, and people seem to love that digger and talk about it like it's the best thing in the world, and I'm so tired of it because I know it's made, I believe, in Taiwan.
Taiwan.
The company starts with a W.
I'm fully aware.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I mean, the one we've been producing has been produced since the mid-'90s, and it's probably one of the most copied tools out there. Each one of those I do those each one by myself. I'm talking about heat treating, welding them together, stamping them, folding them. I've seen some knockoff copies
right, like a lot of people said, well, why don't you go with a double serration? It's going to fail because the strength is not there. I've seen the one in mention. We've had one here in our shop for testing. I've had a number of other ones in here for testing. Believe me, it doesn't even come close, and it weighs a quarter pound more than my Model 85. And in the testing that we did, it folded right where the first double serration is on that blade.
Yeah.
Nothing to worry about there. If people want to start supporting jobs in Taiwan and still buy an inferior product, that's their choice. But we stand by our products. We try to make, I think we do build the highest quality tool out there. Each one of those tools are heat treated one at a time. There's nothing mass produced here. Mm-hmm. We're trying to produce the highest quality possible digging tool that you can buy. And hands down, I think we have that.
Absolutely.
If you were to test those side by side like we do, like whenever somebody comes out with a knockoff copy, somebody brings one in, we'll try it out. We'll see, what it takes to bend it. And not a problem. And the one, matter of fact, the one that we used to test against that was number 17, which I'm still digging with today, which the other one went to the scrap heap because it just folded right over.
Did I ever tell you about the one that I had that the tip was bent?
Mm-hmm.
The Model 75? And did I tell you how it got bent?
Changing tire?
Yeah, a wheel was stuck.
I've had a person tell me that they changed their tires with it.
Yeah.
How about a lawnmower? Was it a lawnmower?
No, it was a full-size tire welded to the rear drum. And, yeah, it got it off. And it was a slight bend, but my buddy actually did it, and his feet and everything was involved, and that's what it took to bend that tip. But it popped the wheel off. Yeah. Well, so they take abuse like nothing I've ever seen. I just recently seen a knockoff of yours that looked like a wave down it. It was bent.
So I confronted one of the companies. I called them up and had a word with them pertaining to it, and a dear friend of mine brought one over, and it folded like butter. Mm-hmm. And they were advertising triple heat treated. I called them up and asked them about, can you enlighten me to what triple heat treating is? He goes, well, the common person doesn't know what that is. Well, if you can't get it on the first time, you're not going to get it on the third time because you're going to cook the molecules right out of it. They were playing people for stupid is what they were doing, literally thinking that nobody has, enough knowledge to know the difference of what's going on.
It aggravates me that these companies do this, but even more that people will stand up for some of this junk on the market, and it's aggravating to me. If you guys were double, triple, quadruple the prices, I could see somebody going, trying to find an alternative. But in most cases, you guys, the people who are are knocking off the 85 are the same price. And they're made in China and Taiwan and everything.
I know. It's ridiculous. And people think, like at one of the organized hunts I was at, there was a guy there, his blade's all twisted up. It was bent down on a 45-degree angle. I said, you having a problem with that? Oh, no, I like it that way.
Huh.
You like it that way? Instead of having the blade straight forward, you like it all cocked out and all bent up like that? I'm like, he goes, yeah. All right, I just kept on going.
Yeah, right.
What gets me is like when some of these people go on Facebook and they say how these Chinese ones, these Taiwan ones, they're a great tool and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I know beyond a shadow of a doubt, I've tested these right here in my shop to find out what it takes to break them. There's no comparison. Not even close.
Mm-hmm.
Theirs could be heavier, bigger, the whole 9 yards, and they still don't hold up because they don't use the quality steel that we use.
Mm-hmm.
People say, well, your tools are a little expensive. They're expensive because we use the finest quality materials that you can get for these digging tools. Mm-hmm. We're not just grabbing something. You don't just go down to the corner store or corner steel shop and buy this stuff. This is all special stuff that we use, and we make sure we build a quality tool. And most people recognize that because we see it in the sales. And how many people, when you go to a professional, like some of these organized hunts like we go to, almost everybody's out there fielding them. Mm-hmm. And most of the, put it this way, the last thing you want to do is pay $250 to go metal detecting for 3 days and have your tools fail on you.
Yep.
And you're standing there with nothing to dig with, and you just paid $250 to hunt for 3 days. Not to mention your gas bill, your hotel bill, your food bill. Mm-hmm. It racks up to about $1,000 per trip on the average to go to one of these hunts.
Yeah, and
the last thing you want to do is go ahead.
I was going to say, and why people will buy these cheap tools, and they'll spend all this money on that hunt, but to save $20, and instead of getting your tool that'll last a lifetimes if you take care of it, they'll save $20 and buy something they can twist and break right up. Now the Model 45. I mean, you guys, there are some people making shovels a little bit cheaper, but nowhere near the quality. But I see the Model 85 oftentimes being duplicated by these and being made overseas, and they're wanting the same amount of money.
Yeah.
And it's like, you got to be kidding me.
You know what's sad about the whole thing?
What's that?
When these companies take an American product like that and ship it off over to China, Taiwan, wherever the case may be, but those are the two principal countries, just so they can make a few shillings off of it.
Yeah,
that's wrong, in my opinion.
Yeah, same here, and that's why.
It's taking jobs away from people here.
Yeah, and they're trying to, and the money George, that's why I am constantly defending you guys or pushing you guys, because it's just a no-brainer to me. You know, it drives me crazy. It's really the only thing that drives me crazy. You know, I think all the manufacturers have good metal detectors, you know, in different price ranges and stuff. I think there's a lot of good detectors and things, but there's nobody else making anything as good as you guys are. You know, and it's there's somebody out there making. Go ahead.
A year ago, almost to the date, me and Pam were at a event, and I see this guy walking. It was actually a father and a 12-year-old son. And they're walking by, and it looked almost like they had a piranha. I'm like, I'm turning to Pam. I said, "Is that my vase?" But it's orange. And then when they came back, I noticed when they turned sideways, you could see how bowed the handle was. And the father, I stopped the father and son when they come walking back again just to take a look at this tool. And it was bent. It looked like the bow and arrow. It really did. I mean, it looked like the bow itself. And he said his 12-year-old did that on the first day out with it. I mean, that's ridiculous. And that was another Taiwan product.
Yeah.
And then I see people posting, like on Facebook every now and then, you might catch a little, "Oh, well, I just got mine and I'm really proud of it," and stuff. Lots of luck.
Right. I just, you know, it's something that's become really personal to me. Like, you know, you guys know I make headphones. I think there's some other companies that make some good headphones, and I don't, you know, that doesn't bother me when I see somebody else buying another pair of headphones. But when I see these people wasting their money, and a lot of them just aren't educated, and I try to my best any chance I see to educate these people on what kind of quality you're putting out. But then it really ticks me off when you see these people with this Taiwan shovel talking it up like it's the best thing ever, and it's horrible. It makes it, that's just ignorance. But that's abound in social media. It's so aggravating.
Mike, what they're trying to do is prey on the newbies who really don't know that much about digging
right.
or whatever, and just trying to make that buck by talking up their item, which in fact I wouldn't give you 5 cents for some of the stuff I've seen. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's that bad of a quality. When they show pictures of the tool, you may have a straight cutoff with its 8-cent plastic cap on the end. Once that plastic cap comes off the end of the handle where you're handling it, you're going to have a sharp edge there. Mm-hmm. And then some of the blades, I've looked at some other knockoff copies, they don't even have a bevel on there. I mean, how are you going to push that in the ground? You're going to push an 1/8-inch piece of steel through the ground without a bevel? I think not.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, one of the things, kind of change the subject here. I don't think I said to our listeners tonight. I know we're not there yet, but we're going to talk about one of the things I've been wanting to talk about is some of your different shovels. Like I said offline, when we're not live, you and I have talked about some of your different shovels, and like I've wondered what was their purpose, and then you'll tell me, and it's like, oh, okay, some of your shovels and stuff are very specific for certain things in certain areas, and I'd kind of like to get into some of that, get some people looking out at the website and comparing shovels mm-hmm. and stuff, and then before we get started on that, I'm sure you guys remember a while back I announced a contest. Well, there was some misunderstanding on my end, and we're going to do that. We're going to announce that again tonight and get that going. And what it is, they sent me a shovel that I'll be honest, I haven't used yet. It's going to be a field shovel. I was talking to George and Pam a while back, and I said, don't get me wrong, I love my Piranha, but and I'll tell you where I've really come to love it is here in Texas, George, I can't even use your hand digger when it's dry. I can, but it'll just wear you out. The ground is like concrete. But what I've learned, back east, I always used the Model 85, and it worked great. The ground doesn't get that dry. Out here, you can't do it. Well, so what I've learned is I can cut beautiful plugs with the Piranha. That is a plug cutter there. You can, real quick, I never used a full-size shovel like that for that. But the one that we were talking about, I was looking for something that moved more dirt and soft dirt in like fields. And George sent me one recently that is just incredible. Just love it. And we're going to do a contest to name it. And we'll get links set up and everything. I'm not sure how we're going to do it. Pam, actually what we were talking about beforehand, I don't know if I'm afraid that might cause some confusion if I started on my end.
Okay.
Because we'll have it in different places, but I'd be more than happy to help you set it up or even write it up for you. I know you guys are just crazy busy. But anyhow, we're going to name it, submit your name, a name for the shovel, and if you win, George and Pam are going to send you a Model 85 hand digger. And I would guess everybody has one that listens to this show by now, but if you haven't, you're never going to dig with any other hand digger. I assure you, there's nothing I like. I would say there's nothing I like better, but there is one I like better. The Model 75, it's got a little bit longer handle, and I do like the grip a little bit better, but the 85 is still the 85 is going to beat anything out there hands down without a doubt. So we'll set up a contest and we'll get that going, and that should be a lot of fun. But the one that I want to ask about the most is your new Model 41 Richmond shovel.
Well, that one there. Well, that one, a good dear friend of mine, Wayne Aldridge, down in Richmond, Virginia. He has a metal detecting shop down there, and he's like my mentor on Civil War artifacts and stuff. He keeps me educated on that stuff. But Wayne wanted something like that. It's almost like a poor man's folding shovel. But what do you call it? They have what you call like a root mat down there. Like when you go out in the woods and this root mat, it's almost like cutting through a rug. You'll actually chop it like 3 times, and then you just pull it back, and then you take the shovel and you go inside the hole and you can scoop the dirt out with it.
Nice.
And down there, it's a very popular model. Where did we just send that one? We just had one. I think it went to Denmark.
Denmark.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Somebody placed a nice order over there, and we shipped that out. But usually, most of those go down south. A lot of people down there like them, and like we went to the shows. We stopped making it for a number of years, but every time we go to shows, everybody's asking us, "When are you going to have them again?" Well, we aim to please, so we figure we'll make up a run of them, see how it goes. If it goes okay, then we'll keep it in production. But we did make up like a batch of them, see how it goes.
Okay. Real quick, before we go on, somebody, let me get back to chat. I'm sorry, I was looking it up. Ken wants to know about the Raptor. Wants to know. He said I've had my eye on it, but would love to know the best application, as it's totally different than the regular diggers.
Put it this way: like when I go field hunting, or if I'm doing hunt digging, you can move a lot of soil with that little shovel. I'm gonna tell you what, it really gets in there. Even for doing work around the house, you'd be surprised what you can do. You can pry boards and every other thing with it. No, I'm serious.
It's a beast.
But what do you call it? I'll stick that, like if I want to just go for a quick casual metal detecting, I just stick the thing in my back pocket and I'm off. There's nothing I can't get up with it. Field hunting. When you're out in the field hunting, I think it'll pry right into the ground. I mean, you can really get down there. And if you got rocks and stuff, you can pry them right out of the way.
Yeah, Ken, it's a real piece. Yeah, it is beautiful. It's got a real nice curve to it, and it is a heavy duty digger. The only thing I would say about it, I know a lot of people who have gone to that. They've picked it over the 75 and 85.
This is true. Because we see it in the sales, believe me.
Yeah. The only thing I would say, if you're in really, really dry ground, like I'm here in Texas, it's a little harder to get through that top little bit. Where the 85, you've got that serrated edge, and I can get through almost anything. I mean, here in Texas, it is tough. It is really tough. But, if you're in real dry ground and stuff, it's a little harder to work in. Well, it's a little bit it's a wider blade and stuff too. But if you're somewhere where it's not real tough dirt, I mean, once you get it opened, the design of it is perfect, like George said, for prying and stuff. But sometimes getting through that dry sod in that top layer can be a little more challenging. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, this is true, but once you're in, you'd be surprised how much dirt that thing removes from a hole.
Absolutely.
That's why we've got. Oh,
let me jump in here for a second.
Yeah, go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, sorry. I've been trying to get a word in here, but I didn't want to interrupt you guys. But
What?
I have to say, I've been field testing the Raptor the past few weeks, and that may be my new favorite digger.
Well, from this. Yeah, go ahead.
I would say, especially if I'm going out with the intent of looking for deep targets, that thing is amazing. I can move a ton of dirt quickly. I can still cut a real nice plug, and I can get down to some of this deep stuff with no effort. And, man, when I'm looking for deep stuff, that thing is awesome.
Well, that's why we patterned the Ladybug, Little Mac,
Hornet,
and then the Hornet all are patterned after that because it was such a success on that blade. That's why we patterned 3 more blades after that because it moved so much dirt. Like the Model 45, the biggest series of it that we make, one of the guys who was using it, he was completely blown away. And he wanted to turn around and buy one for his son. He had one of the actual test samples, and he was so impressed with that thing that he wanted to buy one for his son. I thought that was really cool.
Ken, who just asked about it, he said he just bought one, so he must have went out to the
45.
website and just bought one. The Raptor.
That's great. Oh yeah.
Yeah, he just
they go out almost every day. We're selling those.
Wow, yeah.
That's just an awesome. That's an awesome tool.
I gotta tell you guys a quick story. Pam, I gave her one of the. I didn't realize I gave her a first production model, but the very first prototype model. It was hand formed. I actually had when I made it. When you make one of these tools, you have to make a blade by hand, and it's got to be perfect. I'm talking about in every aspect. It has to be perfect. And I made a mock-up of it, and I put the handle on there the correct length that I wanted, put the neck on there, but I did not fully weld the neck on there. I only tacked the front and I tacked the back because in case I had to take it off for working on the mold. And come to find out, here's Pam using it, and it didn't even have a grip on it. and this is from 2003, 15 years ago. I was always wondering what the hell ever happened to it.
It's my favorite.
Yeah, and here she is out there using it without a grip on it or anything. I was shocked.
That is funny. Stolen.
Because when we go metal detecting, we always bring a Raptor. Number 185. I made that by hand. It was a handmade digging tool. To this day, I'm still using that very first one.
Wow.
Well, what a lot of people don't understand is, like, when I started Lesches Tools, but when I left Lesches Tools and we started Predator Tools with my wife and my son, all the original dies for making those tools all went with me. The dies for making the 85, which used to be the standard Lesches digging tool, that was actually named after me. That was I designed that back in the 90s. And to this day, we're still using the exact same dies for making that tool. If that's not a testament, then how many, I can't even imagine how many thousands of tools have went through them dies, and it's still perfection.
Wow, that's amazing.
They're just as good as from one to God knows how many thousands went through there. But it's a beautiful piece, and we take great pride in that. But like you were saying with the Raptor, the popularity is really out there on that tool. And that is one of the main reasons we made 3 extra tools patterned after that tool because of its success.
Yeah,
I'll have to get some down there for you to play with. Like Pam made her design was the Ladybug. The Ladybug is a really cool shovel, and you can move a lot of dirt with that. And if you have to, you can actually put your foot on the back of that blade. And if you wanted to, you can put foot pads
on it.
And it's a cute tool that is functional. It's light, and it moves a lot of dirt.
Yeah, they do.
But that one's hers.
Yeah, she come up with that one.
Well,
Didn't she?
She said,
George, I gotta know.
Yeah.
What I mean, I've let my piranha sit outside. Well, let me preface this by saying this: I don't take care of any of my stuff that I own. It doesn't matter what it is. Okay,
man, you messed up,
and
man.
I've beat the crap out of my piranha shovel, and that thing still looks like it's brand new. I mean, I've dug through gravel parking lots chasing silver, and I mean, it is still so ridiculously sharp. Especially when my son's out with me, I'm like, dude, you just can't. You're not touching that shovel. Just I'll work this shovel. You go get your plastic digger out. And now my son's only 6, but that thing is crazy sharp. But I mean, I cannot. I mean, it blows my mind. And then furthermore, I don't know if that's powder coated paint or how you guys paint those, but holy moly, that stuff's tough. I mean, I've never seen paint stick so good.
but
you, primer first.
Yeah, but like, what do you call with Pam? Her favorite is the Raven. The Raven came out in 2011, and it's still been going strong. It's a very strong seller. I think probably the main reason why a lot of people haven't copied that yet is because they can't figure out how to make the dies for that. It's a very complex die. And it took a little bit of time to put that one together, to make a mold for that.
I bet. Yeah, that's almost like a circle.
Yeah.
It's great for making plugs. Yeah. I don't leave home without it. I especially like it in the cornfields, because getting around when they cut the corn, it's tough getting through that. Mm-hmm. And the Raven gets right through it.
Yeah, it does.
And it takes a lot of dirt out too.
Mm-hmm. I actually had one, and I used to hunt with a lady in Ohio and she actually had the piranha. And she fell in love with my Raven, and she traded. We ended up trading. She wanted it so bad, and so I ended up with the piranha, and she got the Raven. Oh. But that was kind of hard to do. But she fell in love, and she was great. And I thought, well, okay, it's okay.
That was nice.
Yeah, and I love the piranha though too. I think we're like here in Texas, it's a little probably, well, I don't know. The Raven would have worked really good too. You guys, everything you guys make is just incredible.
Yeah,
I had one, the Model 45, the Hornet D handle. What did you guys design? What's that for? I mean,
to be honest with you, when I first came out with it, it was for nursery work. It was going to be like a heavy duty for metal detecting, but basically for nursery work. And we were doing tests, tweaking it up however they wanted, brought it out, let them check it out, let the workers actually go out there and decide what they like. But the end result was, the guy told me, he says, George, he says, it's not really that great for digging trees out of the ground. He says, it's good, it'll do the job, but they still prefer their spade. But he says, when they have to put trees in, when they get trees, trees that have to go in, like landscapers and stuff, mm-hmm. He says that's the first thing they go for because it cuts such a great hole with it. Mm. He says it cuts a perfect hole for putting a tree in. Mm-hmm. And I guess, like they've been using spades for at least 100 years, as far as I know, because we had one down at the shop. It was from the 1890s, and it had a wooden handle on it. It was almost like a bullet shape. It was just a flat blade with like a bullet shape on the front, and that's what they used to dig with in those days. And it was a pretty stout blade on there too.
That's neat.
That
I like that 45. That looks to me, that looks like that could be a good possibility for a field shovel for moving dirt and getting through those corn stalks and stuff too. Have you tried it?
You can't beat it. You can't beat it. When it comes to even the worst conditions of digging, that is the mainstay. If you're in the heavy, using a heavier shovel, I think it comes in around 4 pounds. It's around 4 pounds on there. And what do you call? But I'll tell you what, that's the strongest 4 pounds you ever get your hands on. Because like I was even telling Pam, even for rescue squads and stuff like that, like if somebody's pinned in a car, you can literally pry that car open like a can opener with that shovel.
I bet you could.
Especially
I bet
with
any
that
of
round
yours.
base. Yeah, well, that one especially.
Really?
The folding shovel we used to produce that was mind-boggling how strong that was. That was a beast. We even sent a number of those over to Iraq, and the frontline people were issued those. We donated those over there. But what do you call? It's so time-consuming building one of those. It wasn't feasible anymore because we didn't have the time to produce other stuff that was selling at a better rate than putting the time into the folding shovel. It wasn't that it didn't have this a calling for it, but the thing is, there's other tools like the Piranha. Piranha is #1 seller, hands down. Raven's right up there with it. Hornet is starting to take off, and that has absolutely zero PR on that. There's been no press really on the Hornet, and it's a phenomenal tool.
And everybody likes Barracuda. Too.
Barracuda, that's another one. It's about 2 inches shorter than the Piranha, and that's a very popular one. Now we just came out with one also.
The General.
The General. Now this is a cool piece that you should keep in your car with you because it has a ball handle. You can also get the optional case. It has a straight blade on there. It's almost like if you had a folding shovel that was open, but it's permanently fixed. And one side of the blade is sharpened. Like one fella who bought one off of us, he got stuck. And he said it was worth every penny. I go, why? What happened? And he said, I got stuck. And he said, I went out and I had to cut some branches off the trees around there. And he says, I dug whatever I could, and then I put branches in there. And he said, I got myself out of there. He said, you imagine what a towing bill would have been just trying to get out of that hole?
Right.
He said, I figured it paid for itself already.
Right. I got a funny story. I think I might have mentioned this to you guys before. I never understood the use of some of your real short-handled ones like the Spike. I never could wrap my mind around. I'm 6'3", and to think about using that. But I got a funny story about that. I used to, when I lived in Ohio, I would meet up with a guy quite often, and I don't know what he had, but he had a short-handled. It looked like, I'm thinking it might have been the Spike, but I'm not positive. That guy, he would like drop to a knee and use his other foot, and he would dig a plug nicer and faster than I've ever seen anybody else ever. And I thought, oh, well, that's what it's used for. It's kind of amazing how, like sometimes I'll look at one of your shovels and I'm like, wonder where that would be most practical, or how would that be used? And then you guys have told me, and then I've seen some stuff, and I'm like, oh, that makes sense. That always blew me away. Well, I would stop and watch him dig plugs sometimes. It was so neat to watch him, and they were just beautiful, beautiful plugs, and done in a second. He could work that shovel like nothing I've ever seen.
Some people really got a feel for it. I mean, it's like an extension of their arm, and they love it where they can just get in there and get like personal with that relic without hitting it.
Mm-hmm.
One of the tools that was really popular was the Little Eagle. It's still a popular tool, but like it never had serration. And one time, I made up a batch, and I tried a double serration on it. You know something? That thing went. It went off the charts. Everybody loved it. Now you have to special order the straight one because everybody wants a double serration.
Oh, no good.
But every now and then you'll still get somebody wants the old style. And we aim to please. We try to help them out if we can.
Right.
For parks and stuff, they love it.
Which one's that?
The Little Eagle. It's just like the tool you're talking about, all right, but it's 10 inches longer because that has an 18-inch handle versus an 8-inch handle.
Okay, I see the Little Eagle. Yeah, that's a
and then
real
there's
popular.
The Ultra Eagle.
Well, yeah,
and then we have an Ultra Eagle, which is the same blade as the Little Eagle, but it has a longer T-handle.
We've actually sold a bunch of those to like park services and stuff. Where if they're putting like seedlings in, they'll just go around, punch it into the ground, just tweak it a couple times and drop their seedling in, off they go, and off to the next one. And like with these tools, if you take a little bit of care of them, like you said, it should last you a lifetime. We guarantee them for 5 years. Mm-hmm. And it's very, very rare that we ever have any come back, but we aim to please and we try to, take care of everybody on these. It's no problem for me to recondition or fix, any of these tools, but it's very rare that anything ever has to be.
Right. I can't imagine how you could break something unless you're.
Yeah. I don't know what you would do to it to damage it. I mean, that would be almost impossible.
Well,
I put mine through the ringer and my Piranha through the ringer, and let me tell you, like I said, that thing is just unbelievable. I mean, it's amazing.
I'm going to say to our listeners, don't abuse your shovels. I have abused them. I have stood on them. I'm 6'3", 330 pounds, and I have stood on them, kicked them to get rocks out of the way, and I've never even thought of it breaking. I mean, I don't know what I could physically do to actually break one. I don't think it's possible under normal. I mean, if I can't break one and Matt can't break one, Matt he's right. Yeah. He is tough on anything and everything he's got.
Something I gotta tell you guys. Some of these companies they try doing their knockoffs. I only use American-made steel on mine. There's a reason for that. I'm trying to keep jobs here in America, but there's another reason for that. I can buy Chinese steel at half the price of American steel. And this is the truth. And I took some of that steel, I ran it through the same process that we do. I only bought a small batch of it just to find out for tests, to know exactly what I'm talking about. Like Pam says, you're going out to your laboratory again because she knows I'm always testing stuff to find out what's feasible and what's not. So basically saying I could have cut the price on material in half by using Chinese. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to tell you what, when I ran the tests on that and I seen how that stuff cracked and broke, it came with the same certs. With this type of steel, you have to have with Chromite 4130, certification that comes with it. It's like buying a pedigreed dog. The everything that's in it, literally.
The
background. But what do you call when you go to test it? It's a completely different beast altogether. I've had it split right up the center of the pipe, not across, but I'm talking about lengthwise, where the Chinese stuff would crack on me and stuff. But none of that material ever made it to any of my tools. I can assure you of that, because it didn't take long when the testing started to see how miserable this stuff was failing. But I just want people to know that you're not just supporting Predator tools. There's a lot of other American jobs all the way down the line that are being supported by this. Mm-hmm. From the guy who mines the ore, and from the guys at the mill, the guys who deliver it.
The guys who cut the blades, sharpen the blade.
The guys who cut the blade, like Pam says, she's absolutely right, because we sent out a shipment today to be sharpened. I used to be a welding instructor at one time, and one of my students was a master machinist, and he actually does my machining on my blades.
Oh, cool.
That's what I was saying earlier about. I seen photographs of people trying to copy our tools that have no bevel, and you can't just push that blade in the ground. If they have no bevel, I have to wonder, did they heat treat it? I don't see how they could have. And people are getting ripped off, and we try to give them an honest. You're getting your money's worth, believe me. We built this stuff from scratch.
Oh, there's no doubt. I mean, the stuff that is out there that's a little. I mean, what I see is so close to your prices anyhow. But they're made in China. They're the same price. I mean, and it blows me away that people are going to stand up for this junk Taiwan made.
I know. I think me and you both seen this on Facebook just last week. Mm-hmm. That one twisted up. It was a knockoff copy of my 85, and that thing was all twisted up. It almost looked like licorice. And then another guy. Oh, well, I don't have no problem with mine.
Right.
Are you kidding me? Why don't you just fly the Taiwan flag already over your banner or over your web page or something? Mm-hmm. I mean, I couldn't believe he's there, saying this is the type of tool you should get.
I could tell you were heated up in that, and I liked that. That was the first time I've seen you really kind of go after some of that stuff, and I loved it. But I don't know if you noticed up above you, I defended it already a couple times and said some things about it. But I think you definitely worded it better. It's just it's mind boggling to me what's out there and the things people are falling for. It's another one I hate, and I'm not going to name it. I don't want to, but. There's somebody here in the United States. He puts the name of the tool is burned out in the shovel. Now,
but Mike, one thing now, that particular, I checked that guy's webpage. It was telling people to buy that other brand, and come to find out, you can tell basically where somebody's from on the Facebook. Mm-hmm. He had a dealer right up the street. Selling the Taiwan stuff. And he's telling people they're great and these things are bending up. I'm like, come on. But I'm sorry. That just got me really torqued up. I knew what was going on. And I just can't, some of the people really that are on the Facebook that don't know that much about the tools, and here they are going to waste their money on buying junk. Because one guy's saying, oh, well, mine didn't break. You only had a half hour? Yeah, you got to use it first.
You used it in sand?
I'm sorry. You go ahead. But like when I see craziness like that, it just drives me crazy.
Ken in chat said he knows what shovel I'm talking about, where the logo's burned out in the shovel, and he says,
"Oh,
Mike,
absolutely,
that shovel is so dang heavy. I don't like it at all."
You know what it does? It weakens the material. Now, if you're trying to promote yourself by burning your logo into the blade, I mean, is this for real? I mean, you're really you're losing the strength. You got to have some backbone to it, and by cutting that into it and putting a square handle on it, what do you got? I mean, is that a real shovel? Or is it an anchor? I can't figure it out.
Yeah, Ken's saying it's heavy. I've heard it's really heavy. I've heard guys break them. I've heard, and yet people still talk highly of it. And I just think, you know what? Get you a shovel from Predator Tools, and then you tell me how great that shovel is. You know, and he's not that. He's a little bit cheaper, but I guarantee he's not using American-made steel. I don't know, but I've heard that he treats them himself, and I would put money on it they're not heat treated correctly from what I've heard of the braking. But I think he's beefed them up, but I think he's made them so heavy that they're, you know, guy walking around with one arm bigger than the other because it's so heavy trying to wield that thing.
Good comparison. Now that is a good one. Well, you remember last week when they had it twisted up on the guy post? Oh well, my friend made me a tool. I'm looking at it. I said, my God, he welded the blade to the handle. It wasn't, a uniform piece. Had a big weld on top and bottom where he welded the blade straight to the handle on the bottom end. There's more to it than weld holding that blade in. That cross section, there's a piece in the center. If you take a Model 85, you look in the center, you're going to see like a rib coming up. That rib is what gives it its strength. Mm-hmm. If you didn't have that rib, you have no strength. Because believe me, the very first ones that I've ever built didn't have a rib. And then once I incorporated that rib into it, I solved all the problems.
Have you seen the guy who puts the handle down through and about 3/4 of the way down into the blade?
Yeah.
That thing is horrible. Horrible. And I met up with a guy who had one, and I think we talked. I grew up in automotive. I was an automotive technician, welding, fabricating. I am not a master of any of it. And those welds, but I know, I can pick up a MIG. I could, with a little practice, I could TIG weld again. I'm rusty. I could pick up a MIG gun, even stick. I mean, I grew up on a farm. You always had a stick welder. You had to. And I know, at least I know what I'm looking at. And the guy who bought it, I looked at him and I said, what do you think about it? I didn't want to be rude, and he said, I'm shocked at how horrible it is. And I mean, I couldn't believe how far down the handle went and into the blade, and the welds were just, I mean, I guarantee I could take somebody who's never welded, spend a half an hour, 15 minutes with them, and they could make nicer welds than that. That's how bad they were. And I was just blown away. It blows me away what some of these people are doing. I think, I don't know. I think people like me who are kind of outspoken and talk about Predator Tools, I think we've kind of stopped them. I think we've made them feel bad in a way. And, guys, I don't care if somebody comes out and makes something as high quality as you. I'm still going to use your stuff. I mean, forever. But I could at least
last you forever.
I could. But what I'm saying, I could still respect somebody that's going to put the time and effort and quality into a tool. I could respect that. I'm not saying I would like it, but I could respect that. But what angers me is this junk that they're putting out and trying to sell to people. That's just junk.
I know. I had one. He puts out a lot of YouTubes and stuff. I'm not going to mention their names, but he says, "Oh, well, I've been using your tools in all my videos and stuff." And he goes, "How about you start kicking some money over to me? We'll put a code on there." We can't just up and do that. He says, "Well, this other company is going to pay me to do that." I said, "Well," there you go. You might as well go that road. But we're trying to earn whatever we do here, and it's a lot of work, a lot of effort. And we actually really try, we take pride in what we're doing here. And, like, I try to build each one better than the next one. Every one, I just constantly keep trying to improve on what we're doing.
That's great.
The tools, I haven't seen anything out there yet that matches it. And even if I ever did, I think I would just try to make my tool that much better, to be better than theirs. Like I told Pam, as long as we're number one, I'll keep doing it. I said, if I can't be number one in what we're doing, I'm stopping.
I don't think that'll
I think
ever
I've done
happen.
that.
Yeah, it's not even close. It really isn't. There's nothing out there. I'll be honest with you guys, I couldn't tell you how many years, probably like many, I started with those Wilcox diggers. But I can't even tell you how many years ago that was. So I've definitely been using your stuff when you were still part of Lesches
Tools. Yeah.
But like when I was a dealer, I remember one metal detector manufacturer, come out with a digger, and people were wanting it because it had their logo on it and everything else. Those things, in my mind, now I haven't seen everything out there. Those were the worst shovels yet. To me, I mean, guys were bending them left and right, and I sold a couple, and I would tell them, you're wasting your money. I don't remember if you were out on your own, had Predator tools yet or not, but I would say, buy this. You're wasting your money. And then after a couple, and people would still want it because it had the logo, and that's what detector but they're not even, as far as I know, they don't even do it anymore. But what a joke. And that makes me salty at the manufacturers when they do that. Why are you doing that? Why, you're fooling your customers. I don't know.
I think a lot of people
swallow.
I think a lot of people, Mike. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you got it.
Well, I was just going to say, I think, with the amount of knockoff stuff, and basically you can find a lot of garbage on the internet and available these days. And, I think a lot of people who aren't really familiar and don't know any better, I think they get tricked into buying subpar equipment and stuff because, too many people are willing to put their name and reputation on something just to make a buck. And, so unfortunately, and you guys remind me, when I'm out digging and I go to an old house, and sometimes people will invite me because I'm just fascinated with the craftsmanship and workmanship that went into building some of that stuff, and the woodwork and this and that and the other. People used to take pride in what they did. And
exactly
right.
That goes a long way with me, and you guys do that, and that's why I really like you. Your stuff's amazing, and I like your company ethics and values, and to do it right, because there's just so much crap out on the market that everybody's out to make a buck, and I love when I see people do things the right way. My wife always says to me, she's like, well, you complain about every product, everything you buy, there's something you. I said, okay, so I'm a mechanical engineer. Yes, I've been a mechanical engineer for, 10, 12 years, whatever, with schooling and everything. But I see where people take the shortcuts, and I don't see that with with any of your stuff that I have. And that's what I appreciate and truly love about it.
I appreciate that.
Thank you very much. We honestly appreciate that.
It's the same thing like with our house. We bought this house as a wreck. 1869, but we restored it back to its original glory of what it once was, and it's beautiful. And we just got done this weekend doing some outside painting on the porches, and but we try our best to, if we're doing something, do your best at what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
That's about the best advice I could give to anybody.
There's no doubt in my mind you are a perfectionist, and I like that. I look at your tools and maybe I don't know as much as some of the other people out there. I think I got a good knowledge though, and so many of them, like you look and they might be similar, but there's little differences. There's subtle differences and stuff. And the work you've put into all these different blades, I mean, if you can't find a hand digger or a shovel from Predator Tools, there's nothing out there for you. You might as well just throw it in and get a plastic scoop. And
yeah, there's quite a few.
But Mike, I got to tell you one thing now.
Mm-hmm.
This lady sitting right here next to me, she played a major part because there wasn't a single blade or tool made without her okay or her input. She's just as much part as this as I am, by all means, because all the support and not just support. We've actually just went out on a patio deck, took pieces of cardboard. We draw out exactly what we would like to see it look like, nip it all out, fold it up. Or what do you think? What do you think? We'd have a powwow out there with a piece of cardboard, scissors, and a pen.
We do things the old-fashioned way.
Yes, and that's how our designing was done. Last one we were designing. We had a piece of cardboard out there. I think it was the back of what do you call flat rate box by the United States Postal Service.
You used the United States Postal Service box?
We already used that. The box had already came in,
I know,
but it was perfect size. She's trying to throw me under the bus here. Good that, trying to get me in trouble. But we actually sat out there, and that's how the ladybug. It was all done outside on a piece of cardboard and a pen and the scissors, and that's how we actually came up with it. She was telling me what she would like to see, and I would draw it out. I'm a little bit on the artistic side where I can actually draw stuff out. And then she'll clip it out, and then we'll start folding it up and see what we think.
And then the hard part is where you have to build the die for it.
Yeah, well, that's when you got to you have to make a perfect example of what it's supposed to be in every shape and configuration. And usually by hand, you got to cut it real nice and easy, grind it around to make sure everything's perfect. And then you got to heat it all up red hot and just start drawing it around on a piece of metal. But like a lot of people say, oh, well, how much money do you make off of one? You know something? I haven't figured that out yet, because when something breaks, you have no idea how expensive that part is for that machine.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. There's a lot goes into it.
I don't know how many times I've been asked that question. And to this day, I still don't know the answer.
It's a long process in making a tool.
Well, that's something. After we talked last time we had you on, and I've always appreciated your shovels, but I had a whole new appreciation for them when you started talking about what goes into them, what kind of materials you use and everything else, and all the steps. And I really started looking, and I'm like, how do they make money at this? I mean, for all the hard work that goes into that, I'll tell you something. Here's a good story for you. I've got a friend who dabbles in everything. Matt knows him. And we were talking a couple months ago about your tools. And I don't know how it came up, but, it comes up often with me. And he started talking about knives and how he makes knives. And he said, I'll tell you something kind of funny. He said, I thought about making my own digging tool. And he said, just for fun, I thought about trying it and seeing if I could do it and stuff, because, he got into these knives real big and stuff. And he said, I sit there and thought about it and the work he goes, I don't think I could make like a Model 85 for myself for $80-90. He goes, so he said, after I thought about it a while, he said, I ordered a Model 85 off of Predator Tools. He said he said it didn't even make sense.
Didn't make sense.
Mm-hmm. So, that's when you look at all your different design, and how the D handle, the ball handle, the T handle, then you've got all these different blades and links and everything. And you guys offer so much. That's what I mean. When you go to your website, it's just like, how do you guys, and not to mention George works a full-time job, and yet you guys are keeping up and doing this, and it's just incredible. For our listeners out there, PredatorTools.com, check them out, and I think it's Predator Tools on Facebook, correct? Just Predator Tools?
Correct.
Yep.
Correct.
Check them out, and something else I've kind of thought about too is, the one who puts his initials in the initials of the tool in the blade is, he has gotten so big because of social media, and he does a lot of posting and stuff like that, and it's like, when could George and Pam do that? Well, I mean, you guys don't have the time. You're too busy making tools and helping customers and everything else.
Right.
Like, they don't have the time for that, but it's amazing what he's accomplished with those big, heavy braking shovels through social media. But, people like us, help.
But the end result is, when somebody actually has one of those and they pick up one of my tools and see the reality of the difference between the two tools, I think they'll come around anyhow. But besides that, I'm very thankful for the fan base that we have on the tools, because a lot of our people are repeat customers that are buying different tools, other than,
There's actually a man who collects all of the
tools.
There's
a few people out there actually collect our tools, and I don't know. I don't believe he's even using them. I think I talked to him once. He says he just hangs them up, but he's actually collecting our tools.
Well, when you and I talked about the shovel you sent me, I called George. I messaged him, and we ended up having a phone call. And I messaged him to say, hey, I don't see this on your website. Is this something new? What do we, can I show pictures around and stuff? And George went on about it, and he said, that I made 2 prototypes, and you've got one, and he said it's either number 1 or number 2. And right in the second he said that, I thought, oh, I got to use this for George and get some photos and pictures and videos and stuff. And I just thought to myself, like, I can't help use it, but on the other hand, I'd rather, I'd almost like to hang it on my wall, as like an art piece.
Well, that is the number 1, the one you have there. I don't know what the blade is stamped. I did when it was here, but that, put it this way, there's no other ones that have actually made it into the field.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, those blades were picked up today, and Pam had the opportunity to find out how heavy a bucket of blades is.
Oh, I know how heavy when you have to drag it because you can't pick it up.
Yeah, because I ran out of buckets for blades. But they were picked up to be sharpened. But they'll be coming in the near future. I would like to say within a month, everything should be ready to go.
Well, I'm going to Ohio the first week of November, and I didn't tell Matt this, but Matt field hunts as well. And here in Texas, I'm a field hunter. Don't get me, when I'm in Ohio and stuff, Texas, I really don't have as much of a use for it here. Don't get me wrong, I will use it. and I will love it and cherish it forever. But I hadn't told Matt this. I was going to leave it with Matt. And here's the only way I can do it. And just to borrow, Matt, when I come back to Ohio, I need my shovel to dig, but I know you'll get more use out of it when I'm home. And the only way I can do that is because I know he can't hurt it. You know what I mean? I mean, it's not like he can hurt it. I know, that thing will last forever, but I was going to do that for Matt when I'm done.
I'll do you one better here. We'll send you the baddest cat in the valley. That's our Model 45. You want something to test. You want to see something that is a phenomenal shovel. You have to try the 45. And Pam's going to put one in the mail for you tomorrow. And I want you to actually physically go out there. You're 6'3", 330 pounds. I want you to try to go out and destroy this thing.
I don't know if I can do that, guys.
I'm on the air, and I'm telling you, I want you to see if you can destroy it.
Okay. I don't. I know I can't. I mean, I've never, tried to destroy.
1 3/8 handle on it, chrome moly, zinc plated. Has a bigger blade, and the way the neck comes down onto the blade, it covers the area. Nice, smooth. There's no sharp edges on this thing. It's a phenomenal piece, and I think this is one of my masterpieces. I really do.
Really?
I
think they all are.
No. I've turned out a lot of stuff in my lifetime. I know I've had over 100 different inventions I've invented stuff for other companies, the whole 9 yards. But what do you call this? The Model 45, I really believe, is a masterpiece because it's so universal. If you want to pry something, you want to get dirt out of a hole, there is no finer shovel that you're going to get other than that 45. And I want you, with your size, to go out there and be honest. Be honest. I want you to go out there and abuse this thing. You tell me if there's any issues, let me know, and we'll correct it. But what do you call? I'm so confident that this thing can withstand anything you can do to it.
I've used a number of your tools, and George, I have no doubt that it's every bit of that and probably more. I don't. What am I trying to say?
You're going to love it.
You don't have to send me something to prove it. I already know it. You know what I mean? Honestly, I don't know. You guys have sent me a couple tools, and I feel almost guilty. Like, you don't have to send me tools. I love what you guys are doing. I don't know if you remember how we got in touch. How I got in touch.
You got to look at it this way also. Like I used to have a guy that used to be with us, and he was what I call my black cloud. He would always tell you what you don't want to hear. Mm-hmm. And what do you call? I would let him test tools. If he come back with a smile, which is usually a rare event, you knew you had something really good there. But usually, he was the kind of person that would pick things apart left and right. But it served his purposes because what do you call? He would, if there's any problems, any flaws, something you might have overlooked, he'll be sure to point it out to you.
Yeah.
He showed no mercy.
Yeah.
He didn't know how to sugarcoat anything, but it helped out.
Guys in the room are saying,
I think you can do quite a bit.
Guys in the room are saying, well, you can send it to Georgia, and then another guy said you can send it to Virginia. Yeah, it's I've seen it posted, and it does look really, really incredible. All your shovels though do. I mean, I just love everything you guys do. I mean, I hope you guys know. I mean, I am a huge fan. Huge, and every opportunity I get, I speak highly of you guys and what you're doing. And I don't do that for any other reason than I truly believe and love what you guys do. And I think, so much of what you guys do is lost anymore. Nobody, it is so hard to get a quality product of anything anymore. And it's hard to find people doing things that really care. And, again, the prices, like I've wondered, how do they do it? How do you make these tools so incredible with the best materials and then sell them for the prices you do is really, really just mind-blowing to me.
Mike, I agree with you 100% in exactly what you just said. It's mind-blowing to me as well. And like I said, once again, well, two things. One, Mike, I'm blown away, and that really means a lot that you would leave that shovel with me. That means a lot to me.
That's cool.
But furthermore, I mean, like I said, when I see a lot of people don't understand, what it takes sometimes to do things properly, and they see junk out there and they assume everything's the same. It may look similar on the surface, but it's just not the case, And I just have such a great respect for any company, and especially you guys, where you put out quality material and quality product, and you don't sacrifice that to try and, I guess in my mind, to try and, I know millions of ways you could probably cheapen your product and make a lot more money. I guarantee that's possible. But when you don't do that, that means a lot to me, and that goes a long way. And like I said, I've had no problems with any of the tools. In fact, I wanted to mention this, not that it should be used for chipping the edges off of an overflow of concrete when your concrete patio was poured, but when I found that to be, when I was putting in some drainage behind my house, apparently when they poured the concrete patio that my patio room sits on, there was, I don't know how all the concrete spilled out under the bottom of their form that they use, so it was all up in the way, and I thought about using a big, an actual concrete blade with a concrete saw and stuff, and I said, I bet if I just take and score that across there and come chip that with that piranha shovel, that ought to do that. And man, it worked great. And my shovel is, once again, I beat the crap out of that thing, and it is in phenomenal shape still. So, I'm a big guy myself. There's no way Mike's going to be able to destroy a shovel. If I can't break one of your shovels, it ain't breaking.
Yeah, true.
Well, what
story.
do you call? We got one called the Big Red. I was at one hunt in Brandy Station, and rocks all over. I'm not talking small rocks. I'm talking about boulders. And some of the relics we were finding underneath this stuff was unbelievable. But some of the stuff we were prying these boulders out. We were chipping them up. That Big Red is a phenomenal piece for cutting straight through the ground. That blade has no disc shape to it. It's just a slight V. It's like an oversized piranha, like you have your piranha. This is a step up from it, and that has an 1.5 inch handle on that, and that's all heat treated and tempered.
Oh wow, that's the Big Red's like your biggest, heavy dutyest shovel, right?
That's the biggest one that we produce. Mm-hmm. But the Hornet, it's a little bit on the lighter side, but that's more patterned after the Raptor. But it is a phenomenal piece. Has double serration down both sides. Has a pointed nose to it. And one thing we didn't talk about is the handle on that is what you call electroplated with zinc, so it keeps it from rusting. That helps it out quite a bit.
What do you guys do to your blades that they never rust?
Just keep using them.
We got
some of the. Yeah. Well, what do you call it? When we're done with them, we put them in the shed. But what do you call the very first prototypes?
me.
We're still using those.
Listen,
not like some people just lay it out in the yard and hope for the best.
I have a little hiding spot, but it's outside, and it keeps on going.
yeah, they just hold up. I don't know. There's got to be something to the steel, I guess, because I've never seen steel hold up so good. I don't know. They're just amazing. And you know something else? I think I've brought this up to Matt. When I was a dealer, I would often, I used to give your shovels away. And again, I think, at least in the beginning of that, it was still, you were still with Lesches Tools.
Yeah.
I think it was towards the end when you started Predator Tools. But anyhow, I would go out with somebody. They just bought an E-Track and they don't have a digger, or they don't have a good one. And I used to give them away all the time, my good one. But so I always had a new one. But I've got a buddy up in Northwest Ohio, and we met up once, and his Model 85 was probably a 1/4 inch shorter than mine. And he said, and that guy would get out almost every day. He said, I've worn it down, but somehow, like, I don't understand how you can wear a digger down so far and it still hold an edge and still work so good. You know what I mean? Like, that really surprised me.
They're comfortable with it.
Uh-huh.
But what do you call Jimmy Sierra out in California, when he used to have the weights metal detectors? Now, he bought the very first 100 that I made that were handmade. It was 100 of them.
Oh,
and
wow.
we serial numbered each one of those. And I've actually, over the course of the years, I've seen some of them. They were almost worn down to a stub. But that was after 20 years of people nonstop. I wouldn't say a stub, but I'd say it would be at least an inch or two shorter than what it originally was. Steve Silva, perfect example. We were down metal detecting with him. He's from North South Trader Magazine, and I'm looking in his trunk, and I seen the digging tool that I made for him, and how you can tell original. One that I made will always say digging use only stamped in the blade. It's right in the center of the blade.
Okay.
But I looked at his. His was 20 years old, and I know he goes metal detecting quite a bit, and it's still looking good after 20 years of use.
Wow. Yeah, they will. They'll last a lifetime easy. It's just incredible. But, we'll keep getting the word out and keep. And you know me, I'm sure you see me oftentimes jump in on things, and when I see somebody say something, it's rare though. It's not. I've seen a couple people say, Lesches Tools or Predator Tools break, and I think you're right. I think, that guy said, and that last time, I don't know if you see where he responded to me, but
I know exactly. No, look. If I spent $50 on a digging tool, all right, and that thing, and it broke, and the name is right there stamped in the thing, right where you can return it to, it says right on the front of the cover, on the handguard, it'll say PredatorTools.com, and it'll have my initials, and it'll say 2003. That was when we started the business of Predator Tools from Lesches Tools. That was a transition period. But what do you call? I'd pick up the phone and call. I'd get on the internet and find out, if there's a warranty. But then again, like Pam says, he probably didn't have one of your tools. He probably had somebody else's tool. But the way he presented it on Facebook, he presented it like it was one of my tools, which it wasn't. Out of all the tools that we've ever sent out, and believe me, we've done thousands and thousands of 85s. I've only seen 3 ever come back. No, 4, pardon me. I had 3 mailed back, and I had 1 at a show that I took back. Not a problem. give you a new one.
Yeah.
And, but I know that was complete bogus. I think that's what really irked me, was making a false claim like that, trying to lead people to believe, it was one of his tools. No, it wasn't one of his tools.
Well, you know what, George? Maybe it was. You're only human. You're dealing. You don't go out and mine the steel, and you don't. Things can happen. I agree with you. I think more than likely, you're absolutely right that it was a knockoff, but he still had no right. I don't know if you've seen what I said.
I know.
Did you get a hold of him? Because you're right. If I spent $50, I mean, who else puts their name? I mean, there's, look right on the digger. It'll tell you.
My name's right on there. Well, at least my initials. I'm not allowed to use my name no more.
Right.
But when I sell a tool and I talk to people on the phone, not everybody likes to order online, and I tell them, if you ever have a problem, you call us, and we'll take care of it for you.
Right. And that's why you guys are really some of my favorite people in this hobby. I've had to our listeners, I've had a couple times. It's mostly been on Fridays. Pam and George will just call me. They're off work and call me. I mean, you guys, it meant so much when you called me. How's that baby doing? And
right.
I mean, just genuinely such
That's a cutie there.
Just genuinely such great people. And I think, hey, if you love the tools like I do and Matt and what they're about, help us spread the word. I think that's important. It's, I don't know if George likes that idea. I know you're crazy busy. This isn't like George. I mean, this is Georgie Jr.
Yep.
and Pam.
Correct.
And that's who is putting out all these great tools. And from my understanding, Junior's sinuses and stuff are so bad, he doesn't help you in the shop much, does he?
No, he can't. But I do, like I have other people who do help out, like the gentleman who, I dropped off a load tonight. Once the stuff's cut, it has to be cleaned. So I dropped them off because I have to focus on other stuff right now, getting stuff ready to go, like building the necks. And he's going to clean everything up. And then from when it gets cleaned up, it goes to be sharpened. Mm-hmm. Once it gets sharpened, it comes back. Then you got to stamp everything. Then you got to fold everything. Once you fold everything, then it gets heat treated. Then it gets tempered. Once it gets tempered, you have to tumble it for at least 12 hours. To put the finish back onto it, really dress it up. Mm-hmm. Then comes the fun part of putting everything together.
Now, do you do all that, don't you? Or most of it?
Yes, but we send the stuff out to be painted. Most of everything's sent out to be painted or to be plated. We try the plating. That's an entirely different beast altogether, and we have that sent out for plating.
Hey, Matt, you still there? Maybe.
Yeah, I sure am.
He is?
I don't know if you heard the
I'm
first
still
show.
Here.
The Model 75. Did you listen when they talked about? I forget the cap, the screw-on cap. It amazes me that feels like there's almost air in between it. That thing screws on and off so precise and so
it is.
So nice.
It's actually watertight. There's actually an O-ring inside of there. Mm-hmm. And what we do before each one goes out, we bring it back in the shop. We test everything out, that everything's smooth, and you put a drop of oil on there, and then you got to work it in and out, just to make sure that seal has a little bit of oil, just a pinch on the threads, and then you wipe everything clean again, and then it's ready to go.
Yeah, that's just incredible. But you send those out to be hardened, or what is it?
They call it hard surfaced.
Yeah.
So when they actually make that, they got to cut it a little bit deeper just to accommodate the hard surfacing that goes on there. But that stuff rarely ever comes off. I've never seen it come off. I had one gentleman who was from Virginia, and he was a digger. I mean, that's all this man did was dig with this. And we applied that to the nuts on the folding shovels that locked. Even on those, every ear, the ears on the folding shovel, the washer, and the nuts, and then the stem inside, everything was precision machined on those. So when you went to tighten that down, there was actually an O-ring in there also. When you're chopping on something, the blade doesn't come loose like a conventional military one would. It's just like it was welded shut. Once you tighten it to where it's supposed to be, it's like it's welded there. Then when you're done, you just crack it loose. I have one example that I carry with me in the wintertime. I still have one of the original ones. And I had to die for putting those all together. I was just telling Pam yesterday, I still haven't been able to find it. We cleaned up the building, and I had a helper, and God, I hope he didn't throw it out. But so in case someday I ever decide I want to make folding shovels again.
I was just getting ready to ask. I've seen people ask you, and I've seen in different groups people ask about. I mean, that thing was legendary. I don't know that I ever even seen one. But have you thought about doing them again, or even doing limited runs?
Not at this time, because
it's just too much, isn't it?
Well, there's like all the precision machining, all those parts were very expensive.
Okay.
And we were selling those for like $125 a piece, and but you were getting your money's worth on them.
Right.
Especially like a lot of those went towards Virginia way. People actually did this almost for like a living, going out there digging artifacts. They were using our folding shovels and stuff. They would take the shovel and just hang it off their shoulder. Matter of fact, I was down by Chesterfield, Virginia, like Bermuda 100, where Butler was penned in by Boulder Guard on that battlefield. We were smack dab in the center of it. I'm walking through the woods, real heavy woods back there, and what do I see? I see a guy come walking out onto the dirt road from another direction. Went over to see. I had to go over and talk to him because he was using one of my folding shovels. He couldn't believe it. I was down there with him. that's cool.
Yeah, that's really cool. I'm guessing the Model 41, the Richmond shovel, is probably really popular, I would guess.
Well, it had its day. We just started reintroducing that less than a month ago.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
And we actually made up extra blades. I got extra blades just in case. We're going to try one more run of it, see how it goes. But for like a metal detecting and a survivalist tool, that's where we came out with the General that has the ball handle on it. It's like a opened up folding shovel, and you got the cutter on the side, and we got sheaths for them too, where you can actually keep it in your vehicle in a sheath.
Yeah, I wanted to bring that up tonight. Pam and I recently, we talked about that a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago. I didn't know you guys had sheaths for some of your shovels. I mean, I knew for the hand diggers and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But I would tell, I feel like the word needs out on that. And maybe you guys ought to highlight that a little bit on the website because, like my Raven, for the most part, stays behind the seat of my truck, and I'm always worried about, throw that thing is so sharp. I worry about throwing a coat back there or something and ripping it.
Not a problem. No, we do have a sheath for that. For people that travel, because a lot of people do travel, so you don't have a sharp tool back there, we make covers for them blades. That'll keep it safe for you.
Matt, did you hear? Matt travels a lot.
Yeah,
What kind of
I
shovels
do
do
a
you
lot
got?
of travel. Well, I have the Piranha, and I'm not gonna lie, I've tossed it in my car and sliced up some stuff before, but lately I've been taking lately I've been taking a piece of cardboard and putting it over there when I put it in the car, so that when I don't destroy anything else.
I've seen people actually use gun cases for them shovels.
Right.
I'm serious.
Yeah.
I mean, they actually take their shovel.
You guys need a shovel named. You got to make a shovel called. In fact, this was what I would vote for as a name for that shovel. The one that Mike has. I would call that the Governor. I mean, it just looks like a powerful shovel to me.
I like that.
Okay, you need to put that online when we post it.
Yeah, I like that too.
That's what I would call it.
The Governor.
But
Yeah,
But anyhow.
No, hey, I really.
It's not on.
Huh?
I'm sorry, my Alexa's talking in the background, and I didn't even talk to her.
Hey, that's scary.
Yeah.
I hope those things can't listen in on you.
She just put her opinion in, and I didn't even ask her.
Oh, that's funny.
Hey, I hope it's not a corrupt governor.
Yeah,
But that is good. I like that.
Yeah, Matt, I like that too. I was going for Mudge. That was my nickname as a kid, but I think I like Governor a lot better.
I like that.
Yeah. I don't know. It just sounds like a great name to me for a shovel, and it fits in line with some of your other shovel names, and it just sounds powerful to me. I have there's a lot of respect behind that name. Anyhow, that's my thought.
That's very, very good.
Well, because there's other stuff coming out anyhow, but we'll wait on this. This will be a nail biter for some of the people. It'll be around Christmas time, and we'll be coming out with some new stuff.
Well, when you do that, let me know when you're ready to do another podcast, and we'll do that. Get it announced and out there.
Okay, that'll be great.
If you can.
Matter of fact, one of the prototypes is going to go out this week, and it's going out for testing, and we'll see how it works out. I'm sure it's going to work out because this thing's nice. It's a real nice piece.
Very cool.
It's a little bit step up. It's like I think I'll just keep you in suspense on that.
Yeah, keep me in suspense.
I can't let off too much.
That's funny.
But I'll tell you what, it's a nice looking piece. Really nice. Everybody that's seen it was like, ooh.
I think all your stuff is just beautiful. I mean, everything you make is just stunning. And, I've really come to pay better attention to your designs and stuff. And it's just incredible to me what goes in to some of this. And, you telling me more about how you do it and everything, it's like, wow, that's just incredible. And then it's just, it's really neat. When I go back to Ohio, Matt and I are going to get together and we're going to do some videos and stuff. And I will be doing a review, an article on the, the one that I've got now. And we're going to have some fun. I'm excited to use it in the field. I think it's exactly what I've been looking for, and so I'm excited to give it a try.
Yeah, when you showed that to me, Mike, when you showed me that picture, I said, wow, that clearly looks like a badass shovel that will just tear it up in the fields.
I'm telling you, if I leave it with you in Ohio and I hear about you knocking concrete off with it, you and I are going to fist fight.
No, like I said, listen, I don't take care of my own stuff, but something like that would mean a lot to me, and I promise you I would not misuse or abuse that shovel.
I know you,
buddy.
I know you wouldn't. I just know you'd get more use. I mean, I do get back to Ohio 2-3 times a year, and then I'll be snatching it from you. I hope you know. And
yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, we'll.
No, like I said, I feel honored that you would even let me borrow the shovel.
Well, if I didn't trust you 100%, I wouldn't. But I know you can't break it, and I know you wouldn't be as hard on it as you would your own stuff. But I know you'll get good use of it. But if I'm going to leave it,
believe me,
you'll have to do some videos and stuff for like YouTube and show it off and how great it works. You got to help me do that.
One question I did have, and back pertaining to the Raptor, is there a well, not necessarily a reason. I'm sure there's a reason. Have you ever considered putting teeth or some teeth on one of the sides of the Raptor at all?
No, it never worked because what do you call the nose of it? Like somebody just sent us an email that they put serration on both sides. That's a major no-no. It's not going to hold up.
Okay.
What do you call it? When I design these, I design it where it'll take maximum amount of pressure. But when you start cutting into that blade like that, you're killing it. It's not the way it was intended to be.
Well,
but as you notice on the Raptor, the front is bigger, and even if you put serration on there, it's not going to help you because you got a rounder body on it. Not only is it rounded, it tapers back to the handle. If it tapered out, yeah, it would help you. But when it tapers in, it's not going to help you at all.
Okay.
And I was only curious because that, like I said, I've been really enjoying playing with that shovel the past few weeks, testing that out and using it, and it's like I said, it's amazing when I'm out. I sometimes just feel like doing nothing but only listening for super deep signals and yank. I pulled I mentioned this the other week. I pulled a Mercury, it was a 1917, I believe, Mercury dime at 14 inches. Okay. And it was a legit 14 inches. And it was the deepest dime I've ever dug in my life. And I was amazed myself, but man, it was like getting down there with that shovel or that digger. Oh man, it was so simple. It was so nice. And I love taking that out, especially if I know I'm going to be out trying to dig deep targets. And, once in a while, though, unfortunately, I get like certain areas I take the big shovel. I'll take my piranha, and that particular place I stick to just a small hand digger, either the 75 or the 85 mostly, but or the Raptor now, but that thing gets down there quick, and I'll tell you, I very rarely hit roots in any places where I'm digging I don't find a lot of super deep stuff in places where there's roots anyhow, but that's why I had asked about the serrations or teeth on the Raptor.
Now,
something like with the Raptor, like when me and Pam go field hunting, that is one of the best tools you ever have. If you can bring the shovel, that'll get you down a lot quicker. But if you're just like you said, just walking around looking for a deep target, you want to travel light, just stick a Raptor in your pocket and be off. Yeah, or in your sheath. That's an amazing tool for definitely, especially like I said, or if you're at a spot where you're prone to digging a lot of deep stuff and you want to travel light, man, just toss that on your hip and that thing's great. I love it. Because right now, that's exactly what we're working on. The Raptors, like, we'll put it this way, we get to a certain level, it's a critical zone, especially when you're getting close to shows. So it's like you got to turn around, whatever you're doing, stop, and, start producing those again. But, like, usually the piranha, that's been taking a lot of our time. Raven, that's another one. And the Hornet, that's a new one. We want to make sure we don't run out of those. But like it's like a touch and go. Sometimes you get close. Some people complain and say, "Oh, you're sold out of this. You're sold out of that." We try to do our best, but if it's not 100%, it's not leaving here because I'm not jeopardizing my reputation on sending something out because somebody was in a hurry to get it. It has to be right. I love when I hear that. I can't stress how happy that makes me when I hear a manufacturer of any product say that. I just really appreciate what you guys do.
Well, it's that's how we live around here. It has to be 100%. Like Pam, we might be under the gun to get some stuff out. She'll come up to me and say, George, I can listen to this. And she'll shake the tool. I said, oh man, you can hear like little BB.
I have a big rattle.
If a little spatter from welding it together gets in the handle, and like when she checks everything on these things, and if she don't check it, my son's checking it.
Yeah, I mean we're not perfect, you know what I mean. If
but
one
I'm
gets out there, but
yeah, I think you guys should take those with the rattle and sell them for a little bit more. There's a little more added material and a nice little jingle with them, and yeah,
it makes music.
I got two handles right now out on the shelf that have rattles in them. So I have to, first chance I get, I have to fix them. But like
Mike, you should order one special with a rattle.
Right?
Give it to your son Randy.
Right? What do you got on the shelf?
It'll two-fold purpose.
Keep them awake.
Yeah, I would so do that. I'd order one tonight. What do you got that's got a rattle? Is it something I need?
Yeah, it's a 45. You want one with a rattle?
Yes, I want one with a rattle. Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yeah, do you? I'm serious.
No, I'm serious. I want one with a rattle.
It saves me the trouble of cutting it open again.
Yes, I want one with a rattle, please. Yep.
You
and then I tell everybody the story. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
You can tell them it's a real rare piece because it is a real rare piece.
Yeah, George put rattles in here for me, special.
Right.
Just to keep you awake while you're metal detecting in case you don't find nothing.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I love that. No, I'll take one with a rattle all day long. I love it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I like. What's really cool is when I see these pictures in the magazines where they got the shovel stuck in the ground, they got their metal detectors all leaning on top of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I do that all the time. I always get a picture with my detector leaning on one of your shovels, of course.
Well,
like
we went to this one hunt one time. There had been 5 or 6 of them in a circle. It was almost a true circle. They all had their shovels all stuck in, and they all had their metal detectors on there. That I wish I grabbed a picture of because I thought that was so cool.
Yeah, that would be cool. When I get back to Ohio, me and Matt are going to do some videos and stuff and show the shovel and how it moves dirt and all that. And I don't do a lot of videos, but I want to get not that I want to get started, but I do enjoy. I don't like doing a lot of videos when I'm detecting, but like if I'm talking about a detector, I'll kind of show how to go through the settings and stuff like that. And but I do want to get some video while I'm in Ohio metal detecting. And I talk about field hunting in Ohio so much, I wanted to kind of get some stuff about it and about the shovel. So, yeah. Guys, I know it's getting late. I know you guys are an hour behind.
We want to wish everybody a nice night. We're going to sign off because I got to get ready for my next job.
Yeah, I bet.
I got to go out and put handles on tools.
Well, there's one you don't have to fix.
You're laughing.
Now.
I'm serious.
Oh, I bet. I know you work a lot. You got to work a lot of hours to keep up with what you're doing. There's no doubt about it, George.
Yeah. But, you know something? Like I tell Pam, this is freedom. Because what do you call it? We're doing what we like to do.
Exactly.
And we don't have nobody cracking a whip over us and stuff. Anybody that helps us, I tell them the same thing. There's no rush. I said, just please, whatever it takes, make sure you do 100% job, but there's never a rush on how you do the job. And we'll do the best we can.
And I feed everybody that helps us.
Oh,
you get breakfast and lunch.
Breakfast and lunch.
Wait.
I think I need to move. I need to.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking.
Everybody gets fed well.
I bet.
It's a fun gig. I got a gentleman that's been with me 40 years, over 40 years, and we've been together since God knows when. We were little kids running around a Christmas tree in his yard, I remember.
Do you guys fight like a married couple?
No.
We don't fight at all.
No, I mean, oh yeah, I got you. Okay.
No, sure.
Me and Matt fight like an old married couple when we're together metal detecting.
she goes out to the building and brings me my food.
Oh, that's
there you go.
She's like, I'm eating. I can't stop right now. I'm like, okay, I'll just bring it to you.
Yeah, because like if I'm on the oven, you cannot stop. Once it's started, that's it, because it's one at a time. It takes time, but you could have one in there, phone ring, I won't pick up the phone, nothing. I just crank up the stereo and jam out, putting them in there. He's sweating like a dog, too.
He's cooking.
Yeah, when I'm cooking.
I think we need to buy some shovels, Matt, and go pick them up around dinner time. Take a little road trip. See what's
there
cooking.
Go.
Yeah. Well, she said she does breakfast and lunch, so
that's right.
Yeah, we'll get there early. Maybe we hit all three.
Hey, but you know, one thing I should emphasize, like with this steel, you can make it hard as glass. Where you take it, you put it in a vise, and you swing a hammer and hit it, it'll shatter it like glass. Or if you do it wrong, you can make it where it's soft as butter. You can hit it and it'll just fold over. I've been doing this for a lifetime. I want this stuff to be exactly where it'll actually take the shock of it and bounce back to its original form. We go for perfection on these. Like when I'm doing it, it's like a trade secret. Nobody, except for Pam, because she's bringing me food and usually watching. Sometimes she'll sit out there with me a bit, but far away from the oven. But seriously, it's like freedom. You know, we enjoy what we're doing, and I know we're doing something good and positive here.
Yeah, you are.
And not only that, I think it's really cool when you get calls from the United States military wanting to buy your tools. I think that is really cool.
That is.
That's a statement in its own right.
And
That's
we do
amazing.
some shows, and I really like.
Meeting people and stuff, and
I
we do shows.
enjoy doing that.
I bet get out and.
Do you ever let? I'm sorry. I just wanted to ask this because I'm curious in my own nature. You ever let anybody like take a tour around your facility and kind of watch? No,
Absolutely not. Because I've even had friends asking about that. I said no, and it's like it's a trade secret. You know how we do this, and
our facility is very small. A lot of people think, like we're a great big company or corporation. No. We're a small family business.
It doesn't get more mom and pop than this.
And that's how we kind of like to keep it,
Yeah, that's nice.
No, that's cool. I just asked because I was curious. I work in the crane industry for overhead cranes, and I'm in all kinds of facilities all the time, and I'm always shocked and amazed when I'll see like, you got these big name brands on stuff, and then I get to the facility and it's a little tiny like mom and shop place, and I'm going, wow, this is where you're turning it out. Like it's amazing to me.
It's phenomenal.
And then you got these other companies that are just, it blows my mind, and that's how people are doing it right.
Right.
When they've got it down to a science. They know what they're doing, and they're able to turn out a quality product and build a reputable brand and name behind that. And that's just awesome. It's always amazing. I've seen some amazing places that I would have never expected were a small-time operation. I would have thought that, when I first came across Predator Tools, it's been a number of years, obviously, but I would have thought that you guys had a huge operation going on, just based on the diversity and different types and styles of shovels and hand digging tools that you offer. Like, right off the bat, I'm thinking mass, huge production facility and everything, and
No.
and then
You'd
I
be
find out that
Matt, all kidding aside, you would be totally shocked at how many big companies wanted us to produce for them that we turned down. And I had one of them, do you know who we are? And I said, yes, I do know who you are, and I can't help you.
No, I gotta. Now, have you?
I'm keeping it low where it is, so I can focus on the quality. Put it this way: you're going to lose something when you start mass producing.
Yes.
You're bringing in people that have no real knowledge of how the whole thing goes. That you got to train them for this, that. Somebody doesn't come in a particular day, and it blows everything out of sync. I've been down that factory line before, like when we had the old business. I had a lot of people working there. But what do you call? You lose some of that.
Mm-hmm.
We're shooting for as high as we can go with what we're doing here, but we don't want to mass produce to the point where the quality suffers. That's why I keep it low key. There's only so much I can do.
George, when you...
Yeah, that's very respectable.
I believe you're getting close to retirement. Have you thought about, or does that just mean that you're not working into the middle of the night anymore? Or have you
probably to the point where I'm not working in the middle of the night.
Okay.
I'm going to keep doing it as long as I can. I'm like 60 now. No, I got to go at least till I'm 66. And then, what do you call it? Then I can do this full time.
Okay.
Which I'm already literally doing this full time.
Oh, I'm sure.
I take off work. Luckily,
he takes off work to work.
Yeah.
But sometimes I told him you got to take a break, so we go metal detecting a little.
There you go.
But it doesn't happen as much as I'd like it to.
Yeah. I get that.
Well, it's a little cooler now.
I think it's really cool you're in a place where you want to be and you're not going to compromise. And, but I think, there's nothing wrong with slowing down a little bit and getting out and doing what you love and taking a break. I know you love the work you do, but we all need a break from that sometimes too.
Sometimes after you take a little break, you come back and focus better.
Right.
Right?
Exactly. So, guys, I don't want to keep you any longer. We're at 2 hours and.
Oh, absolutely.
But I do. You guys are welcome anytime, and please, when you have anything you want to announce or talk about, get a hold of me. Let me know, and we'll help get the word out for sure.
Well, don't worry, we'll get you a rattler down there.
I can't wait. I'm so excited.
Me the time of cutting it apart.
I'm gonna take it out of the box and I'm gonna shake it, and I hope it's got some good rattles to it.
It will.
Worst come to worst, I'll give you a magnet to stick to the side of it.
There you go.
If it gets annoying.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
It's rare it happens, but sometimes it does.
Yeah, you're going to have that.
Matt, Mike, thank you guys very much.
Thank you very much, and have a good rest of your
Thank
evening.
you guys.
Oh, yeah, thank you guys for coming on. Good night.
I really enjoyed talking with you guys.
And have fun detecting.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Take care now.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right.
Another great show. I love those guys. Those people, I should say. They're just such wonderful people. I just said in the chat, I'm almost embarrassed what a fanboy I am. I mean, I don't know how it gets any better than that. I don't know how you could have better people, putting out such an amazing product that they're so proud of and work so hard on. And I love when we have them on. They're just amazing. They're what America needs to be and should be. And all right, guys, we're going to wrap it up. Thank you for tuning in. I hope everybody has a good night, and we will talk to you next Monday night. I'm working on some people right now. I think I've got I think I got it wrapped up for next week, so we'll see what's going on, and we'll announce it soon. Thanks all. Good night.
The All Metal Mode podcast is sponsored by Digger's Den. If you are looking for a metal detector, get in touch with Mike or Brian. Together, they have years of experience with many different brands and models. They also truly enjoy what they do. You can contact them through Facebook at Digger's Den, visit the website at dddetectors.com, or give Mike a call. He makes it sound like it's so hard raising our boy, but trust me, he has time. 937-414-4578.